Hi, I'm Astrologer Penny Dix. Welcome to this month's in-depth look at the full moon in Aries. It's another supermoon and it's on the 17th of October. That's this Thursday coming up this week. And it's at 24 degrees and 35 minutes in the sign of Aries. And it's conjunct Chiron that is retrograde in Aries, and opposite the Sun conjunct Juno. But it also makes up what's known as a grand cardinal cross. I'll explain all these things. So where are we going to start? Because I know a lot of you know that I've been going through some difficulties in the last few days, which have drawn a halt to my activity on YouTube. And that will resume very soon. I will start the Astrobites very soon. The day of recording this, Sunday the 13th, is a particularly difficult day astrologically. And if you've not caught my live, which is tonight, because obviously you will see this video after I've done my live stream tonight about the week ahead, then check it out. But this full moon, it is a supermoon, so this means it's further to planet Earth, or nearer, should I say, to planet Earth than it normally is, and that kind of invests it with more power. So we've already seen plenty of destructive weather patterns, which one can put down to a lot of the solar storms and the solar energy that has been spewing itself out of our sun. And also this full moon, as we build up to it after that solar eclipse in Libra, then we have this energy of tension. That's the best way to describe it. Maybe it'll help if you think about, and let me know in the comments, how the last few days have been for you. Have they been tense, stressful, difficult? Are you feeling as if you're on the edge of a precipice and not sure whether to jump and take that risk or stay where it's safe? The sun in this full moon, the sun in Libra is conjunct Mercury. Let me bring up the chart at the moment, because Jerry will be sitting there thinking, when's she going to put the chart up? So, Jerry, the chart. There we go. So, if you can make out the cardinal grand cross, it's between the Sun and Juno at 24 degrees in Libra, and then you look for the full moon that is down there in the 4th house conjunct Aries, our troublemaker, and Chiron, our healing planet or space object, our healer, our wounded healer with the wound that never heals. And then we have this tricky energy building up of Pluto now direct in Capricorn, in opposition to Mars, now in what's called its shadow zone in Cancer. When that goes exact, it's really quite big stuff. Excuse me while I just have some water. So, what do I feel about this full moon? There's something about relating and relationship the need for commitment, the need for the discussion around the commitment. But to whom is the relationship? To whom is it with? Is it me and my cat that is still missing? Maybe by the time you see this video, George will be home. But maybe he won't. And I have to live with the uncertainty. How good are all of you at living with not knowing, with uncertainty? Because if we can master the living with uncertainty, and there is something about this full moon that brings up for me the uncertainty of the future. You know, Aries, where the moon is the first sign of the zodiac. It's about me, I. It's me personally. It's ruled by Mars, that is squaring, as part of this cardinal grand cross, is squaring the moon. And Chiron. You know, I thought about Chiron, and I thought about the story of the Fisher King. The Fisher King, if you're not aware of the myth, is about a king. He is known as the Fisher King, and he receives a wound to his thigh, a little bit like the centaur Chiron. It's the same myth, in a sense, repeated, and it will never heal. This full moon is looking for the healing and the resolution within relationship. But there is as if something stands in its way. Now, in the story of the Fisher King, which is about the divine masculine and the divine masculine's disconnection with his own inner divine feminine, Parsifal, who is searching for what is known as the Holy Grail, arrives at the Fisher King's castle, and a wonderful banquet is laid out before him. And he feasts, and he has a wonderful time. This is what happens when men are fully in their, you could say, thinking mind. They just enjoy life and what's lying in front of them. But what he forgets to do is to ask the question that will heal the Fisher King. All he has to do is ask the question, which is, for whom does the Grail serve? What he is unaware of at this part of the story is that the Grail serves the inner feminine. And when men are disconnected from their inner feminine, they go down into that cave of despair. We might call it, the man is in a bad mood. When a man is in a bad mood, he is disconnected from his inner feminine because he is not asking the right question. He is not serving his inner feminine. Now, I bring this story up just to highlight the potential healing aspects of this full moon and the need for all of us in the myriad of situations we all find ourselves in at this point in time, whether it be in a relationship that is teetering on the edge of collapse, whether it be with a career choice where we are not really sure which road to choose, whether it be a beloved lost pet like my George. Am I asking the right questions? Am I looking without instead of looking within? Am I and are you not serving your inner feminine, which is our intuition, which is our gut feeling, which is also about the letting go. The letting go, and as I've said in many of my videos, as my friend Caroline Vasey always taught me, LG, let go, let God. Be the observer. What do you need to be the observer of in your own life to bring resolution through this Aries full moon, which is fraught with tension? Excuse me. It's, we can all, whatever our situations are, our personal situations are at the moment, and I can't believe that any of you who may be watching this video do not have some situation, maybe to do with a friend that you've kind of drifted apart from, or you kind of fell out and either of you have never tried to make amends or look at how you could heal this friendship or relationship, even if it's to agree that you have to acknowledge each other's differences, but to forgive and to let go. And if you choose to go your own separate ways and not stay in touch, then it's because it's a choice through serving the inner feminine, through asking the right question of the Grail. For whom does the Grail serve? When Parsifal finally realizes that he has to ask this question of the Fisher King, miraculously, the Fisher King heals. Because Parsifal has connected with his own inner divine feminine and empowered the Fisher King to do the same. Where is your wound? Where is your mortal wound that you carry? That trauma you carry in your life, be it a recent trauma or wound, be it a long-term trauma or wound. This full moon is giving you this wonderful opportunity with Chiron conjunct the full moon in Aries to heal. You just have to ask the right question of yourself, of your inner feminine. The sun, as I said, is conjunct Juno in Libra. First of all, let's remind ourselves, Libra is about relationship. Libra is about balance and harmony. But, in opposition to the full moon, it can be representing the imbalance and the lack of harmony. The need, as it's conjunct, it's an out of sign conjunction, Mercury, our planet of communication, in Scorpio. In Scorpio, Mercury is telling us to dig deep down into the very depths of our soul, to turn our soul inside out, to be our raw, authentic selves. For the healing to take place, we have to be honest, not just with others, but with ourselves. Juno, conjunct the sun in opposition to the full moon, is the dwarf planet that represents marriage, commitment, binding bonds, hand fasting, balance and harmony, the end of the not knowing. Some kind of resolution can be reached, but Mercury is really requiring us to dig deep in Scorpio, which then brings me on to Pluto. Pluto, our planet of transition, transformation. In Capricorn, now direct. Pluto is opposite Mars. Mars is in Cancer. Mars rules Aries, so is the ruler of the full moon. So there is something about our inability to get hold of our inner power, our divine masculine and our divine feminine. Get out of our mind and get into our soul and our psyche. And try to understand and grow from the wonderful, rich lessons that whatever situations you find yourselves in, these situations are here to help you grow. We can take this onto the world stage. I'm not going to mention any of the problem areas, the hotspots or the political hotspots. But if we applied the same principle of both sides connecting with their inner divine masculine, their inner divine feminine, going within to ask the right question. And I looked up the metaphor of the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland, because my cat George, who is missing, who knows if it's a good thing or a bad thing, I just have to accept that for now, George is missing. The Cheshire Cat reminds me of George, and George reminds me of the Cheshire Cat. And there he sits on a branch, and Alice in Wonderland stands there and says, "But which way do I go? I don't know what to do. I don't know which road to take." The Cheshire Cat replies, "When you don't know which road to take, then anyone will do, because it'll take you to where you need to be." This empowers us with the gift of faith, trust, and knowing that if we allow the divine to flow through us and guide us, we can find the resolution we seek, even if it's not the solution we ultimately want. What we will gain on an inner level is far greater than any riches, people, cats, dogs, animals that we can find in the outer world. Which is not to say George won't be found. But he won't be found until I've learnt my lessons. So Mars in Cancer. Cancer is the home. Mars is about assertion. It can be about aggression. It can be fighting. Sorry, I thought I got it on Do Not Disturb. Apparently SpaceX have just sent a rocket booster up. That was Sky News. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Let me just put this. I thought it was on Do Not Disturb. Clearly it wasn't. So there we go. It is now. There I was in my flow. And you see, sometimes we have to be ready to accept the unexpected. So Mars is not comfortable in Cancer, but Mars has no choice because Mars is going to be in Cancer through its retrograde period, which starts, I think it's in December, for about 6 months, 7 months. And Mars is already in what's known as its shadow zone. What is Mars going to teach you in Cancer about the home, about your place in the home, about how you use your power and your authority and assertiveness constructively, pulling in that energy of Pluto in Capricorn. This full moon, we can go either way with it. We can completely collapse and crumble into a heap of despair, like the planet with all the trouble zones could crumble into a pit of negative despair and fantasies about what could happen. You know, at the end of the day, we have to have some faith in human nature. And at the same time, we have to have some faith in the divine and know that she has our backs. And she has the backs of all of those on the world stage who don't even know she's there. Because at the moment, they're asking the wrong question. They're not asking for whom does the Grail serve. Once they're able to do that, the healing that the planet needs can take place. I just want to briefly talk about Uranus, because Uranus is still making this kind of sextile and sort of mini water trine, grand water trine. Uranus is making the sextile to Neptune in Pisces. Trust the psychic, trust what you can't see. Go into the mists, into the fog. Because sometimes when we allow Uranus to bring the unexpected into our lives, miracles can happen. And, you know, Uranus is also sextiling. I've lost it. Uranus is, hang on, there we go. Uranus is, that's right, Uranus is sextiling Neptune, and Neptune is sextiling Pluto. So Pluto is trining Uranus. This is powerful stuff. Don't see the worst in your own lives or on the world stage. All is not lost, and peace can be found. It just needs enough people with the intent to allow the process of healing to take a few steps back, to recognize that they are in the castle of the Fisher King with this wonderful banquet laid out. And instead of them gorging themselves on the oligarch type money and riches, to just ask the right questions. Because nobody wants war. Why would we? Who does that serve? It doesn't serve the soldiers, and it doesn't serve the mothers of sons or the wives of husbands, or indeed the children or anyone. It does not serve anyone. So Uranus also then gives us the opportunity for the unexpected to come in. And I think suggests through Neptune and the sextile to Pluto not to give up hope. Remember when Pandora opened the box she was told not to open? War, pestilence, disease all flew out. But so did hope. So what I'm saying is, in conclusion, yes, this is a tough full moon. But you have to go within and ask the right questions of yourself. If you're able to do that, then the situations in your life that need you to address them and grow from them and learn from them can be resolved through the energy of this full moon. And I also want to mention retrograde Jupiter in Gemini, bringing expansive thought and communications from the past, is making a sextile to the full moon and to Chiron, healing discussions between friends that have fallen out, between partners who have fallen out, between colleagues at work who have fallen out. All of these things can be helpful. And before I bring this to a conclusion, Aries, our dwarf planet Aries, who of course is the goddess of strife, discord, and freedom, sometimes we have to let things go to grow. Aries could not grow until she let go. And in a sense, she didn't ask the right question at the time of the goddesses. This is for the fairest, keeping everything in a kind of narcissistic side of the divine feminine. Uranus, remember, is also the planet of rebellious behavior and freedom. What do you need to set yourself free from to bring resolution and new beginnings into your life? At this point, I'm going to say to Jerry, let's remove the chart. There it goes. And Jerry, bless him, is devastated. George had gone to him to be an emotional support cat. He had a job to do. But clearly George didn't choose to stay and managed to run away. If anyone in Gozo is watching this video, please don't give up looking for George. He's much loved. But if he chooses to be with a colony of cats and a cat feeder, I'm happy to let him do what he wants to do. That's my letting go. I just want to know that he's okay. So, thank you so much for joining me for this full moon. Normal service on my channel will resume as soon as possible. I've also been a bit poorly as well. I think the stress of losing the cat. I've had a chest infection and atrial fibrillation, which means I must rest, which is irregular heartbeat. And I'm not ready to leave this planet yet. I've got far too much work to do. So please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon when things have settled down a bit for me. Love you all loads. Thank you for your support and your kind and very kind comments of support and prayers. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.